Okay, in this Go Math video, Math on the Spot video, you're going to be covering 5.5%. Let me double check that. Yep, 5.5%. And follow along, use your scratch paper, take initiative. If you think you know what to do next, go ahead and do it, but then continue paying attention to see if you've done it correctly. All right, good luck.
Percentages aren't just for doing math stuff. Percentages allow us to actually measure parts of any quantities. Quite often, some of the most important quantities we want to measure with percentages, in fact, money. So let's take a look at a great example where we see Tasha earning money, spending money, and all the information is hidden in percents. Let's try to find them for ourselves. Let's check it out. So each week, Tasha saves 65% of the money she earns babysitting and then spends the rest. So good for her. She's saving a good bit of money, and then she's also having a little bit of fun. I like it. Now this week, she earned $40. Our challenge is to figure out how much more money did she save than spend this week. How much more money did she save than spend this week? That means the first thing we have to do is figure out how much money she saved, how much money she spent, and then to figure out how much more money, that would look at the difference between those two. So there's lots of stuff to do here. Let's get to it. In fact, the way I want us to think about that is to actually think about a model. So let's think about the $40 she earned, and let's try to model it. And we can visualize it. So remember, she saves 65% of the money she earns, she spends the rest, and this week she earned $40. So let's check it out for ourselves. Shall we? All right, so that models the $40. So that's how much she earned this week babysitting. So that's going to be the totality of her savings. So that means it's 100%. I don't care what noise you may hear, I'm telling you, 100%. Now, we know that she's going to save 65% of that. Now, by the way, just in terms of kind of visualization, we know that half, right in between, would be 50%. 50% is half. So 65% is actually going to be a little bit more than half. So if we try to model that amount, notice that if we do that, you do see that it does seem like it's actually more than halfway. And that's the 65%. So now this is the part, in fact, that she spends. Now what percentage is that? Well, if we think about it, the percentage would be, well, the totality in the model is 100%, and this is 65%, so that difference is going to be what she spends. So what she spends, in fact, will be 100% minus the 65% that she saves. So what's 100% minus 65%? Well, that's 35%. So that's new information. That means 35% of the money she earns, she actually spends. Well, she earned $40 this week, which means all we have to do is figure out what is 35% of $40. So of means times, so there's going to be a multiplication in our future. First of all, let's just write down what 35% means. Remember, that's a very special ratio where it's 35 always over 100. Now, let's see if we can actually simplify this by writing this as an equivalent ratio. And so one thing that we can do is think about this as, well, take 35 and divide that by 5. Take 100 and divide it by 5. If I divide or multiply both the top and the bottom of a ratio by the same number, it's going to produce an equivalent ratio. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And so I see that 35% is actually equal to the ratio 7/20. So what I've got to figure out is what is 7/20 of $40. That's how much money she spends. So let's think about that. That is going to be 7/20 of is my cue for multiplication, times $40. And so how do I do that? Well, that's just going to equal 7 times 40 over 20. And when you compute that, you see $14. So $14 is the amount of money that Tasha spends, because that's 35% of $40. We just figured that out. So that's awesome. So let's just first of all write that down, because that's a neat little fact that we have. So Tasha spent $14 this week. How much did she save? How much did she save? Well, if she made $40 and this is the amount she spent, then that's the amount she saved. So all we have to do is simply take the $40 that she earned and now subtract off the $14 that she spent, and that difference will represent the amount of money that she in fact saved, which of course is $26. So that's how much she in fact saved. Isn't that neat how we can actually figure these things out for ourselves? And now here's the tough part, because here's the question we really asked. Remember, the question was, how much more money did she save than she spent this week? How much more means what's the difference between this number and that number? And so the final thing we have to actually do is pursue one subtraction. Oh, I don't want that. One subtraction question. And the one subtraction question we want is, what is $26, the amount that she saved, minus $14, the amount that she spent, because that's going to tell how much more money she saved than she spent. And when we actually perform the subtraction, we see $12. And that is the answer, $12, because that tells us that Tasha saved $12 more, in fact, than she spent this week. And that's pretty cool. The way we're able to do that is by taking the information we were given, which involved percentages and money, and actually create a little model. $40 was the totality of the money she made, 100%. 65% of it she saved, which means that the rest, which turned out to be 35%, was what she spent. So now we had to figure out 35% of $40, which works out to be taking 7/20ths of $40, $14. Looking at the difference from 40 gives us the 26. That's how much, in fact, she saved. And so when we actually put them together, we see how much more she saved than she spent. Figuring out finances is one of the most important things that we can do with mathematics, even after we've long forgotten formulas and things that we won't use again. Understanding percentages and realizing when it's important to subtract, to multiply, and to add, very, very important as we try to actually figure out how to live lives within our own means. Tasha's doing a great job, and so are you. Have fun thinking about percentages and money, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Continue in your big math book.